in high school, so my upper body just develops way more quickly than anything else. So like I don't even really need to work it like I did before, and just trying to focus on growing my legs because they need it.
Yeah, you played football and hockey and all that type of stuff, but like there were like a lot of girls there, like playing football.
No, like at the school that I went to, girls were not like supposed to play those sports. And I grew up in Canada, so like
No.
things were a little bit different whenever I went to high school there. And then I went and changed high schools halfway through and went to high school in Ypsilanti. I went to Lincoln High School for a couple days, and then I went to the alternative high school there. So I've been like back and forth a lot just because my parents were divorced. They both lived in different countries, and so I was frequently traveling back and forth. But I got into football and hockey and wrestling, and there were no other girls on the team except one other girl on the wrestling team. And it was because our parents complained that there was not women's teams, and that if we wanted to do it, that we had the right to do it. So I played boy sports. All growing up, I had more guy friends. Like I've always kind of been a tomboy. I wear a lot of pink and black, but I definitely have more of a masculine personality, which is sometimes a downfall for my husband. So
You don't seem like you have like a masculine personality too much. You
no,
seem
but
like
I'm
you're
not
just
mad
quiet
yet.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Like
funny.
cuss people out or something, or what we talking about? I could imagine you in prep or something. I don't know. Like I hear a lot of stories about, sometimes, women, man, y'all turn green when certain things happen. Y'all don't like it,
Yeah.
Y'all have like this stigma a little bit with yeah. So I mean, especially not just women, but I think bodybuilding in general, it has like a stigma where it's not
Yeah.
really like a popular thing and stuff. But
Yeah.
I do notice that a lot of people, they do work out. They were like you. They weren't like into bodybuilding, but then something kind of made them take that route, and they was just hooked. And yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you ever well, what was I about to ask? It just the question just does. But I see a comment. Tomboys are usually the most intense. Yeah. Well, what was it like child be like competing with the guys as a girl, like that you were like the only girl in these
Um,
sports?
I feel like for me personally, it always it's gonna maybe come out wrong, but I felt more proud of myself competing with men and having the ability to knock over men that were bigger than me. I liked being swift enough and almost making men feel insecure about themselves that they were getting, slammed by a girl, and that I was able to overpower them. And I feel like that's always been like a big thing for me. And like I dress way differently now. Like I've done a lot of personal growth and a lot of personal healing, but I used to dress like a straight dude. Like for many years, I
Yeah.
dressed like a guy and wore all guys' clothes. And so it's taken some like healing in my feminine era to like even start wearing pink. I used to be like straight goth, like skater look, wore black all the time. My hair was dyed black. And so I've changed a lot over the years. Like I'm 28 now. And when I was in high school and through, my early adult years, I just dressed way differently and presented myself differently. I worked really hard to change personality traits and things about myself that I just felt like were more trauma related rather than it being truly who I was. So, this bodybuilding experience, and since, the age of 25 and my brain fully developing, I've done a lot of self-searching to find out who I am and who I want to be for myself and not be defined by the things that have happened to me, if that makes sense.
No, I get it. I mean, it's better than transforming.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because Yeah, I mean, it's better than transforming because you don't want to be like displaying too much masculinity, and
Yeah.
that's I noticed that there's some bodybuilders that I see, and I'll be like, whoa, they look like
Yeah.
I mean, they do. I mean, it's the truth, and then people see that, and they just have like this negative outlook, especially with women with muscles and stuff, and you don't want
Yeah.
to always display this masculine features too much.
Yeah. Exactly.
I yeah, and it's like different divisions. You got the bikini. You got wellness, you got the women physique, and you got women's bodybuilding. You got figure and and fitness also, and
Yeah.
fitness the new fitness model
Fit
thing that
model.
people
Yeah.
don't like. Yeah. What should you do? You like it? Do you think that's interesting or to you, or it's
No. Like,
okay?
I'm just going to be honest. There's some girls who I see that look good in the fit model division. But personally, I think they look good because they're almost to bikini. So they have enough
Yeah,
muscularity where I'm like, no, they look like they're, beginning their journey. But a lot of women I see in the fit model, competitions, it's a little disheartening when you're putting in so much time and effort. And I'm not saying that women in fit model are not putting in time and effort. I just think that that's more of like a transformation category that needs to be opened up. Like, if we're not going to be based on muscularity and looking different than the general population, I just look at women in fit model and think like, oh, they're kind of just like petite women. I don't consider it as being muscular. And I just think that there should be a different classification of division or like even organization that is for, just fitness or looking petite, or like almost more of like a beauty pageant type thing, based on physique and looking small, rather than it saying that, they're bodybuilders. And that's no shade. It's just my personal preference. The first competition that I went to and I saw some of the girls that were in fit model, I was just like looking at it like, I don't feel like it took that much work lifting weights. It was more about they probably lost weight. So it was probably more on diet than, genuinely doing the bodybuilding work. And that's just my personal opinion. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but that's just how I feel.
no, I understand because I mean, just looking at it, I mean, there's some organizations, natural bodybuilding organizations, they do have that transformation thing. Because
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody a while back, and they was telling me that they did like a um transformation division. I'm gonna just call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
weren't
don't know the name
competing,
either.
but
Yeah.
yeah, they weren't competing, but they was on stage, and they didn't look bad neither. They lost a lot of weight. They was overweight and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like over the summer, I went to a show, and they had fit model bikini and wet wellness, and
Yeah.
and that was the first time I actually seen it up close. I wasn't
Hmm.
up close, but I was on an audience. But
Yeah.
and I'm seeing it, but it's not really a big deal, because it's a lot of competitors and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's better than being obese.
Exactly. Like, I am proud of the women that put in the time of and effort, but just like you're saying, it's better than being obese. But how did they get to where they're at? I feel like it's mostly
Yeah,
based on nutrition rather than being intensely in the gym 5 to 6 days a week and like counting your macros, getting your protein in. I just feel like it should be a little bit different. Not saying that, the women aren't putting in work. I just feel like if you're going to call yourself a bodybuilder, you should be able to push some weight like significantly in the gym. And I don't think that that's
yeah.
necessary for the fit model like division.
Yeah, I remember this lady. She was behind me, and she sounded like she was a trainer, and because she was saying like, "How am I supposed to train that?" And
Yeah,
she didn't understand that. So I mean,
yeah,
it got a lot of flack before it was bikini. Now it's distinct division.
yeah,
So yeah. So he says a fit model is more about bringing more attention and money to bodybuilding. Also, IFBB and NPC wants to focus on natural bodybuilding. So you're a natural bodybuilder, right?
yes.
You okay? Okay, I know that seemed like a silly question. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't plan to like stay natural forever. Just basically like until I hit that year mark. A year will be in December, and like I've looked into like a couple of companies that I can go get blood tests from and look into. I just haven't taken that leap just yet, and I want to make sure I'm doing things properly. Just because I've heard a lot of horror stories, but it's something that, you know, me and my husband openly talk about, because I do want to eventually like I compete in a non-regulated federation and I don't compete at natural shows. Like the first show I went to, I had no idea what to expect really. I thought that I was going to be drug tested. I thought they all were. I mean, it's taken me learning and going for myself to know how it worked. But when you're on stage and you're natural and you're competing at an unregulated show, and you're competing with women that are on steroids, it's just hard to compete with that. So eventually it will
yeah,
just be something that if I want to continue and I want to get bigger, I it's somebody made a great analogy to me. Like if you're going to go and be a NASCAR driver, you don't bring like a hoopty Toyota. You bring up a souped up car that is like ready to go. So eventually I will want to hop on steroids, and that's just being transparent because I feel like to keep up with people and to do it unregulated shows, you're going to have to at some point.
yeah. But you don't have no interest of doing like a natural bodybuilding organization or anything like that. Just try it out. I don't know.
Um well, because I've already like spent so much time in the NPC and have gotten to
Yeah,
know people, um I wouldn't switch to OCB. And like OCB, you can go on your first show and get your pro card. I don't think it takes as much time and dedication. And there's only, I think, like one natural show in Michigan like every year. And I could be wrong. That's just like what I've seen or gauged for myself. And I wanted to compete a little bit more often than that to gain stage experience, and be able to know what I was doing more. And I just feel like for me personally, competing once a year just isn't enough for the knowledge I want to obtain through going on multiple times a year. So I know what I'm doing more.
uh, yeah. I mean, if I mean, best of luck. You know, that's all I can say. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, do you see yourself like um being a pro? I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, I think one day I can possibly do it. I don't see why not. I think that I have a good body type, for bodybuilding. I put on muscle really easily. I think my biggest drawback is just lack of time, like under my belt of being in the industry. But like nobody goes into the bodybuilding industry and puts all that time and effort to not go be pro. So I definitely would like to get my pro card, but I don't